How's it? Today is Tuesday, October 14th. I have some back squats today, and I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which would you like to hear? Good news first? Okay, yeah, that's how I normally do it. Good news is I didn't die today. Made it through all of my back squats. Okay, it was pretty challenging, but that was to be expected. I was very nervous going into today for a lot of reasons, but the biggest thing was that I was nervous from last week. Last week I did 131 for 3 sets of 10 on the back squat, and it was hard. It was really challenging on I think the last rep, the 30th rep of all of them. I couldn't push my legs very well, and so I ended up like starting to do like that weird shake, the wobble. Um, but I made it through all of them last week, and I was like, I don't know if I can do it this week, and so got through it today, which is really, really good. It was really hard though. The bad news is a lot of things, but um, first and foremost, I did not do my mobility stuff, my stretches, my McGilbert 3 last night, and so I was not feeling super healthy this morning when I went to kind of get through everything. Another thing that was kind of popping up was last night at work. Um, for some reason, my tricep on my left side, like in the elbow area, was pretty pained. It was like very, very painful. Not like a sharp pain, but like definitely something that's not supposed to be there. Here's my first set at 134, by the way. And so with that elbow issue, it kind of persisted to this morning, and so I ended up not doing any of the upper body stuff that I wanted to do today, and that was for two reasons: by design, but also I showed up a bit late to the gym. So I still needed to make sure that I was able to execute on all of the squats. And yeah, these sets are like a minute 16, then a minute 21, and then a minute 27. So they just get longer and longer, and like it is such a difficult task for me to get through all of them. Um, I was able to though, so that is a very big positive. And I think the motivation and the determination to finish and the grit to grind everything through was uh, a big plus for me. Here's my 10th set or 10th rep on this set, and I hope I can increase next week. If I were a betting man, I would say don't bet on that. But yeah, the rest of the week needs to go perfectly for me to feel like I can actually do everything on Tuesday. But this second set was so much better. Like first rep was probably the single best rep I did of the 30 reps today. And I was just trying my best to chase that and kind of replicate it for the rest of them. And I clearly was unable to do that. And, that's okay. Um, in the grand scheme of things, this is something I talk about with my clients a lot is if I am moving the weight, it doesn't really matter how the quality of the movement is because I'm still getting stronger. Ultimately, I don't lift on the back squat. That is not the competition lift. If I were if I were competing as a powerlifter, I would care so much more about the actual technical execution of the back squat and how good I would be if I was a little bit better efficiency wise. But I don't do that. So any amount of extra strength that I can gain, no matter how ugly or how pretty the reps are, that is always going to be welcomed. So, that was my second set here. So imagine this third set being even more difficult. I feel like probably about maybe at like the fifth rep or sixth rep, I'm really in my head like, how am I going to get to 10? And I know I say that a lot, like that question. It's like, how do I do the next set? How do I do the next rep? But in this situation, it was just like, if it's a do or die, I'm dead. But for some reason, I was able to kind of uh, just kind of shut my brain off and be like, okay, this is the task at hand. It's do or die. I don't want to die. And I was able to make it through. And it's not the prettiest, of course, as I mentioned a few times, but it is a W. Another thing that I was dealing with today was my left calf. As I get to the end range of motion on on the squat, it just felt like it was just getting pummeled and crushed, and it's not very comfortable, and it was hurting quite a bit trying to just push through the range of motion. And yeah, I I think that is not a good sign. I do think that it means that I'm losing a lot of tightness and tension at the bottom, because that means that at the bottom my quad isn't pushing the way that it should be, so that it doesn't kind of essentially like just smash the calf. I'm trying to figure out what to say here, but like I'm feeling it through, and it's just a little uncomfortable. I feel like I've had a lot of issues with that in the past when I would start to do full depth squats, and I mean the key is to just actually cut the depth, and that doesn't sound like a good idea, but at the end of the day, like I'm not squatting all the way. Like I'm not lifting to be a squatter, you know. I'm lifting to be stronger. And the end range of motions, yeah, and end ranges of motion would be helpful for that type of thing. But if it is at the sacrifice of overall pain and actual execution of the movement, that might be something else that I need to think about. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.